Chapter 6. After the disaster at the opera house, Christine disappeared once again. She no longer performed, and Raoul did not know where she was. Then, late one evening, he was walking home when he heard a carriage coming towards him in the darkness. He turned to look, and he saw Christine inside. She was sitting with her head against the window. Raoul rushed forward and shouted her name.
Christine!
Suddenly, he heard a man's voice inside the carriage. The man gave a quick command, and the carriage moved away quickly. Raoul looked sadly at the carriage as it moved down the street. He was now convinced that Christine was in love with another man. He went home in despair. The next morning, Raoul's valet came to him with a letter.
Dear, the day after tomorrow there is a masked ball at the opera. Go there and wear a white domino. I will meet you at midnight. Christine.
All at once, Raoul's hope came back to him. He read the letter excitedly, and he made his decision while he was reading.
I'll go,
he thought.
I'll go to the ball.
Raoul tried to think clearly before the ball. Who was this mysterious angel of music? Was Christine in love with him? Or was she his prisoner? He could not be sure what to believe, and he suffered terribly because he doubted Christine. The masked ball at the opera was a grand affair. The whole of Paris society was there. Raoul arrived just before midnight. Almost as soon as he entered the building, a masked figure in black came up to him. The figure touched his hand and made a signal with its head. It was Christine. Then the figure moved away quickly through the crowd. Raoul followed. His doubts had gone now. He was happy to be with Christine again, and he was in love. He believed in her completely. As they moved through the crowded rooms, Raoul noticed a group of people standing around a large man. The man was dressed in red. He was wearing an enormous hat, and his mask was a skull. He wore a large red cloak with some words written on it. "Do not touch me, I am Red Death." The people around him were admiring his costume. Somebody in the crowd around the man stepped forward and tried to touch him. A skeleton hand jumped out of the cloak and took hold of the woman's hand. The woman screamed in terror and ran away from Red Death. Christine came to the end of the hall and started to go up the stairs. Raoul followed her into one of the boxes. Christine put her ear to the wall and began to listen intently.
It's all right,
she said quickly.
He doesn't know where we are.
The door of the box was open, and Raoul looked over Christine's shoulder into the corridor. He could see a man in a red cloak coming down the corridor. It was Red Death.
He's out there,
Raoul cried, and he moved towards the door. Christine threw herself in front of him and blocked the way.
Who?
She asked him.
Red Death,
Raoul answered.
Your friend, your angel of music. I'm going out there. I'm going to take off his mask. I want to see his face.
No!
Christine cried in horror.
If you love me, don't do it.
Raoul stood still. All his doubts came rushing back to him. She wanted to help the mysterious man to escape. Suddenly, he was angry with her, more angry than he had ever been in his whole life.
You love him, don't you?
He cried.
Go to him then. I won't stop you. But you have treated me badly, Christine. I hate you.
Christine looked sadly at him.
One day you'll understand,
she said softly.
I have to go now. Please, don't follow me.
Christine walked out of the box and went down the corridor. Raoul left the box a few minutes later and walked downstairs to the hall. The ball was still in progress, but he did not want to take part in the fun. He walked miserably around the opera house for a while, then he went to Christine's dressing room. He knocked softly on the door, but there was no reply. He pushed the door open and went in. Suddenly, he heard a noise in the corridor outside. He went into the inner room and hid himself. The door of the outer room opened, and Christine came in. She took off her black gloves. Raoul noticed that she was wearing a gold ring on one of her fingers.
A wedding ring,
he said to himself.
What does that mean? Who gave it to her?
Now Christine took off her mask and sat at the table. She put her head in her hands and sighed deeply.
Poor Eric,
she said.
Poor Eric.
Eric,
Raoul thought.
Who is this Eric? And why is Christine sorry for him?
Christine sat very still. She seemed to be listening. Raoul listened as well. Then he heard something faintly, the sound of singing. It was coming from the walls. The singing grew stronger. He could hear a voice, a man's voice. Now the voice was very clear. It seemed to be inside the room where Christine was. Raoul looked, but there was no one except the girl in the room. Christine stood up. She was smiling happily now.
Eric,
she cried softly.
You're late.
The voice continued singing. Raoul had never heard such beautiful singing before. It was singing the wedding night song from Romeo and Juliet. The voice sang passionately. Raoul began to understand how Christine had made such progress in her own singing. The voice he was listening to was very beautiful. Christine walked to the back of the room. There was a large mirror on the wall, and she walked towards it. Raoul followed her. Suddenly, he felt a cold wind, and the room began to spin round. He saw 2, 4, 8 images of Christine flying around in front of him. He tried to touch one of them, but there was nothing there. Then Christine disappeared, and he stood alone in the dressing room. Chapter 7. Raoul next saw Christine at the opera house. She seemed happier and pleased that he had come. They talked about Raoul's plans for the future. He told her that he would leave Paris in a month. Suddenly, Christine looked thoughtful.
What's the matter?
He asked her.
We'll say goodbye in a month's time,
she said sadly.
And we'll never see each other again.
We could be true to each other,
Raoul said.
We could promise to be loyal to each other, Christine.
I can never marry you, Raoul,
she told him suddenly. There were tears in her eyes when she spoke. She thought for a moment, and then she clapped her hands together happily.
But we can be engaged,
she cried.
That wouldn't harm anybody. No one would know except us, Raoul. Let's be engaged for this month.
Raoul smiled now. He agreed to play Christine's game for a month. There now followed a time of great happiness for Raoul. He and Christine spent every day together at the opera house. They talked, and they were happy at last. There were many exciting places to see inside the building. Christine knew all of them. One day, they were walking over the main stage near a trapdoor. Raoul stopped and looked down at the open trapdoor.
You've shown me some wonderful places,
Raoul told her one day.
but we've never explored the underground places. Why don't we go there one day?
Christine looked horrified.
We can't go down there,
She said.
Everything down there belongs to him.
So Eric lives down there, does he?
Raoul asked her.
Don't talk about it.
Christine said.
Let's enjoy our time together.
She led him away from the trapdoor. As they walked away, Raoul heard a noise on the stage. He turned back and saw that the trapdoor was now closed.
Do you think that was him?
He asked Christine. Christine walked on without answering him. Raoul took hold of Christine.
Listen to me.
He said quickly.
I know you're afraid of him. I can help you if you tell me everything. I can take you away from here, Christine. He'll never find you. Let me help you.
Christine looked at Raoul with great hope.
Do you think it's really possible?
She asked him softly. Then she led him quickly up through the great building to the roof. They were above the whole of Paris, and they could see the whole city below them.
We can talk safely here,
She said.
I'll tell you everything, Raoul. I want you to understand.
She paused for a moment, and then she went on.
It began with a voice,
She told him.
You know that I never had a really good voice, Raoul. It was impossible for me to be really successful as a singer. I just didn't have the voice. Then one night, I heard that wonderful voice through the walls. I thought it was the angel of music that my father had told me about. One night, I was listening to the voice, and I asked if he was the angel of music. I am, he told me. We became great friends from then on. He began to teach me singing. He was a wonderful teacher, and my voice became wonderful too. I never saw him. And then, one evening, I was singing on stage, and I saw you in the audience, Raoul. I knew immediately that I was in love with you. When I told the voice about you, he was jealous. He said I had to choose between him and you. That's why I pretended not to know you when you came to me the first time. I was frightened of losing the angel of music. Do you understand?
Raoul nodded his head.
Go on,
He encouraged her.
Tell me what happened next.
Christine looked around quickly. She seemed to be afraid that someone was following them. Then she turned back to Raoul.
You remember the terrible night that the chandelier fell onto the audience?
Christine asked.
I was frightened like everyone else. I went to my dressing room, and a strange thing happened. The room seemed different somehow. I moved towards the mirror, and suddenly the mirror disappeared, and I was in a strange place. I didn't know where I was. It was dark.
Raoul remembered the evening he had seen Christine disappear in front of his eyes in the dressing room. He nodded again.
A dark figure wearing a mask came out of the darkness and picked me up. I was terrified, but I could not scream. The man lifted me onto a horse. I recognized César, who had disappeared from the opera stables. The man climbed up behind me, and we rode through the darkness. We went down and down through the opera cellars, and then we came to a lake. There was a boat on the edge of the lake. The man put me into the boat. He took the boat into the middle of the lake, where there was a house. Then he picked me up and carried me into the house. I could see him now, but I could not see his face because of his mask. He put me down on a sofa. Then he told me not to be afraid. He knelt on the floor in front of me and spoke very quietly. His voice sounded very strange behind the mask. I lied to you before. I'm not the angel of music. I'm not a genius. I'm not a ghost. I'm just Eric, and I love you. Stay with me, Christine. Stay here with me for 5 days. Then I'll let you go, I promise. But you must never see my real face. Everything will be all right if you don't see my face.
Christine paused in her story.
Then I did something stupid, Raoul,
she said.
I took away his mask. He screamed in anger and tried to turn away from me. But I had seen his face. It was terrible. It's not a human face at all. It's a skull with terrible burning eyes. He screamed and then he shouted at me. Look at me, Christine. I'm ugly, and you wanted to see me. Now I'll never let you leave this house. I know you'll never come back because you've seen my face now. No one can bear to look at me. I know that.
What happened then?
Raoul asked.
I was terrified of him,
Christine said.
But at the same time, I was sorry for him. He loves me so much, you see, and he's so sad. I decided to show him that I wasn't afraid of his face. I wanted my freedom. It was difficult, Raoul, but I succeeded. At last he trusted me. He let me go.
But you still went back to him again,
Raoul said.
Why did you go back?
I feel sorry for him,
the girl said simply. Suddenly, Raoul and Christine heard a noise on the roof. It was dark now, and they looked up to see a hideous shape coming towards them. They ran in terror. Chapter 8. Christine and Raoul ran down through the opera house. Suddenly, they saw a man standing in their way. The man had dark skin and green eyes. He was wearing an astrakhan hat that covered most of his face.
Go that way,
the man said, and he pointed to another corridor. Christine pulled Raoul in the direction that the man had indicated.
Who was that?
Raoul asked her as they ran along.
That was the Persian,
Christine told him.
He's always here at the opera.
At last, they arrived at Christine's dressing room.
We'll be safe here,
Christine told him.
Eric has promised that he will never come here, and that he will never listen to my conversations here. I believe him.
Come away with me now. Today,
Raoul said.
No,
she replied.
I promised to sing for Eric at tomorrow's performance. It would be cruel not to sing for him. It'll be the last time. Then I'll come to you here, and we'll go away together.
Suddenly, the girl began to look around her in fright and panic.
What is it?
Raoul asked.
Eric's ring! I've lost it!
Christine cried.
He gave it to me as a sign of his love. He said I would always be safe while I wore it, and now I don't know where it is.
Raoul tried to comfort her, but Christine was very worried. She was sure that Eric would become her enemy now, and she was frightened. They discussed their plans to run away after the performance the next evening. At last, Raoul went home to bed. In the middle of the night, he woke up and looked around him. There were 2 red eyes staring at him in the darkness. He picked up his gun and fired it into the darkness. His brother and some servants rushed into the room. They looked on the balcony and saw blood there.
I hit him,
Raoul said proudly.
Ghosts don't bleed.
Raoul's brother looked at him strangely.
You've shot a cat,
he said quietly. All of the next day, Raoul made his preparations for the evening. He ordered a carriage to be ready outside the opera at the end of the performance, and he made sure that he had a lot of money with him. Christine was singing in Faust that evening. The opera was crowded to hear her. She sang nervously at first, and it was obvious that she was worried and anxious. Then, in the second half of the opera, her courage came back to her. She sang better than ever before. The audience were very pleased with the performance. Suddenly, all the stage lights went out. There was complete darkness on the stage. The managers acted quickly, and in a few seconds the lights were turned on again. But Christine had disappeared. There was chaos in the auditorium when the audience realized what had happened. People stood up and left their seats. They walked around discussing what had happened. Raoul hurried backstage where there was a crowd of excited people. Everyone was talking about the disappearance of the singer. Raoul was sure that Eric had taken her. He joined a group of men who were going towards the manager's office. He was the last to enter the office. As he walked in, he felt a hand on his shoulder. A voice said quietly,
Don't discuss Eric's secrets with anyone.
Raoul turned round quickly to see the Persian standing behind him. The Persian put his fingers on his lips and moved silently away. Raoul hurried into the office. The two managers were there, as well as a detective. The detective looked suspiciously at Raoul. Then he asked him some questions.
Were you going to run away with Mademoiselle Daae after the performance tonight?
Yes, that's true.
Raoul replied.
Is your carriage waiting outside the opera?
The detective went on.
Yes.
Did you know that your brother's carriage was also outside the opera tonight?
The detective asked. Raoul did not see the importance of this question.
Was your brother happy about your friendship with Mademoiselle Daae?
The detective asked.
That's none of your business.
Raoul replied angrily. The detective smiled.
On the contrary, it is very much my business, monsieur,
he said with a smile.
You see, your brother's carriage is not outside the building anymore. It is he who has taken Mademoiselle Daae away tonight.
Raoul jumped up.
I'll catch them,
he cried furiously. Raoul ran out of the room. The detective turned to the managers with a smile.
That's police work for you,
he said proudly.
I don't know whether the Count has really taken Christine Daae with him or not, but I'm sure that his brother is going to find out for us.
Chapter 9. The first person that Raoul saw outside the manager's office was the Persian. Once again, the Persian blocked the way.
Where are you going?
He asked Raoul.
I'm going to find Christine Daae,
the young man replied.
Then stay here,
the Persian said quietly.
She's still here, inside the opera.
Why do you know so much?
Raoul asked.
You know a lot about Eric's secrets, and I think you know where Christine is.
Eric has taken her to the house on the lake,
the Persian said quietly.
So you know about that as well,
Raoul said thoughtfully.
What else do you know about Eric?
He's terribly dangerous,
the Persian said.
Has he hurt you?
Raoul asked.
I have forgiven him for all that,
the Persian replied gently.
You talk about him the same way that Christine does,
Raoul said thoughtfully.
You think he's a monster, but you're sorry for him too. I don't understand it.
Be quiet now,
the Persian ordered him.
He may hear us. He could be anywhere, you know. In the walls, in the floor, in the ceiling.
The Persian took Raoul to Christine's dressing room. He walked straight to the mirror and began knocking on the wall. Suddenly, the mirror began to revolve like a glass door. Raoul watched, remembering the time that Christine had disappeared from this room. The Persian took hold of him suddenly.
Hurry!
He shouted. They went through the revolving mirror and into a dark passage on the other side.
Follow me,
the Persian ordered,
And do what I tell you to do. We're going into the cellars.
In front of them in the darkness, Raoul saw a yellow light. The yellow light approached. It was a head of fire, and it was coming straight towards them.
Is that him?
Raoul asked.
I don't know,
The Persian said.
I've never seen this before.
The Persian and Raoul stepped backwards, away from the head of fire. Then they heard the sound of rats in the darkness. The rats were running towards them. Thousands of the horrible little creatures began to climb over the two men. There was nothing Raoul and the Persian could do to get away from them. The head of fire walked slowly towards them.
Don't move!
A voice cried.
I'm the rat catcher. Stay where you are, and I'll send the rats away.
The head of fire disappeared. The rat catcher had turned his lamp onto his face, so he didn't frighten the rats he was sending down the passage.
So Pampa the fireman was right.
The Persian said.
He told everyone about the head of fire, but I didn't believe him.
Are we going to the house on the lake?
Raoul asked.
Is that where Christine is?
The Persian nodded. They continued to travel into the depths of the massive building. Soon they came to a wall.
This is Eric's house,
The Persian said.
Poor Bouquet died here. Eric found him and killed him. Eric doesn't like people to come near his house, you see.
He directed his lamp onto the wall.
There's a mechanism here in the wall somewhere. We push it and the wall opens, just like the mirror in Christine's dressing room.
He put his hands on the wall and tried to find the switch.
Ah,
he cried softly. The wall opened, and the Persian and Raoul went in. The hole in the wall closed after them. They looked around them. They were in an empty room. Raoul touched the wall. It was made of glass.
It's a mirror,
he cried in astonishment.
We're in Eric's room of mirrors,
the Persian whispered.
It's his torture chamber, and we're trapped.
Chapter 10. The Persian knew Eric better than anyone else. He knew the whole story of the monster's sad life. He knew that Eric was not just a monster who frightened people because he was so ugly. He was also a very clever and sensitive man who suffered deeply. One of the things that the Persian knew about Eric was the power of his voice. Eric was a great singer. He had a passionate love for music. He was also a talented architect. Years before, the Persian had been a policeman in his own country. Eric had worked for the Sultan there. He designed special buildings for the Sultan, buildings with secret passages where the Sultan could hide when he was afraid of his people. Eric also designed torture chambers for the Sultan's wife. She was a cruel woman, and Eric's intelligent work amused her. The Persian did not like the kind of work that Eric did for the royal family, but he admired him and was sorry for him because he was so ugly. The Sultan decided to kill Eric to stop him working for anyone else, and the Persian saved his life. The Persian knew what happened to Eric when he left the Sultan. Eric came to Paris. He used his skill as an architect to work on the Paris Opera House. It was easy for him to plan secret tunnels and passages all over the building and his own very secret house on the lake. The Persian watched the opera house because he knew that Eric was dangerous. When Eric first became involved with the young singer, the Persian was suspicious. He knew that Eric had taken the girl to his house. One day, he waited for the monster near the lake.
You're keeping Christine Daae a prisoner in your house,
he had said.
Free her, Eric.
A prisoner?
Eric replied. He laughed.
She's not my prisoner. She comes to my house when she wants, and she leaves when she wants. She loves me, don't you understand? She loves me.
The Persian did not believe this.
I'll show you,
Eric told him proudly.
Wait here, my friend, and Christine will leave my house. Stay here, and she will come back alone. She'll come back because she wants to. I tell you, she loves me.
The Persian agreed to wait and see what happened. Christine came out of the house. He waited a long time, and then she came back to the house. He was astonished. Eric was telling the truth. Chapter 11. Suddenly, Raoul and the Persian heard noises on the other side of the wall. It was Eric's voice.
Decide,
he shouted.
The wedding mass or the requiem mass. The choice is yours, Christine.
They heard Christine's voice. She was making a noise of pain.
You're frightened of me,
Eric said softly.
You think I'm evil and dangerous, but I'm not. I just need love, Christine. Love me, and I'll be gentle and good. I promise you it's the truth.
Christine did not reply to Eric. There was silence in the next room. Then a bell began to ring.
We have a visitor,
Eric cried angrily.
Who has the courage to come near my house? Wait for me here, Christine.
He walked out of the room.
Now is our chance,
Raoul said to the Persian.
Maybe Christine will be able to free us if we call out to her.
Raoul called her name softly 2 or 3 times.
Raoul!
She called back.
Is it really you? Where are you?
We are trapped in the room next to you,
Raoul called.
Can you let us out?
I can't move,
Christine told him.
He has tied me up.
Then she told them what Eric was planning to do.
He says he'll kill everybody if I won't marry him. He says everybody will be dead if I don't agree. He says he'll kill himself too. He's mad, Raoul. Mad with love.
Raoul and the Persian were desperate now. They had to escape from the room they were in, and Christine couldn't help them. Then the Persian found the mechanism to open a trapdoor in the room. He pushed it, and the 2 men escaped. They walked down some stairs and then found themselves in a cellar. There were a lot of barrels in the cellar.
This is Eric's wine cellar,
Raoul said.
Wine,
said the Persian thoughtfully.
I wonder if it's really wine in those barrels.
He broke open one of the barrels and looked inside. The barrel was full of gunpowder.
Now I understand,
the Persian cried.
Eric told Christine that everybody would be dead if she didn't agree to marry him. He's going to blow up the opera house. We've got to warn her.
They ran back up the stairs into the torture chamber.
Christine! Christine!
Raoul shouted.
I'm still here,
Christine called back.
Eric came in a few minutes ago. He said the visitor was dead. I think he killed him, Raoul. I'm frightened.
Listen to me,
Raoul said.
The cellar is full of gunpowder. Eric will blow up the opera house if you don't marry him.
Just then, they all heard Eric's footsteps. He came into the room where Christine was.
Who are you talking to, my love?
He asked her. He crossed the room and knocked on the wall of the torture chamber. Then he smiled at her.
Ah,
he said.
It's the little Viscount, is it?
Let Raoul go.
Christine begged him.
You must decide what you're going to do.
Eric told her.
There are 2 boxes in this room. One contains the figure of a grasshopper, and the other a scorpion. You must turn one of them to show what you've decided. If you turn the scorpion, then you agree to marry me. If you turn the grasshopper, then you refuse to marry me. I'll leave you alone while you think about it. Decide, Christine. Decide.
Eric walked out of the room.
What an evil plan,
The Persian said.
If she turns the grasshopper, she'll make the gunpowder in the cellar explode. We'll all die, and so will everyone in the opera house.
I don't know what to do.
Christine cried in despair. A few minutes passed, and then Eric returned to Christine.
Well, my love,
He asked.
what are you going to do? Will it be the grasshopper or the scorpion?
Christine hesitated, and then she turned the figure of the scorpion. Raoul and the Persian waited to see what would happen. They heard a strange noise far below them.
Water!
The Persian cried.
He's flooding the cellar!
The sound of the water was clear now. The cellar below the torture chamber was soon full, and the gunpowder was wet. But the water did not stop, and soon it arrived at the torture chamber. Raoul and the Persian began to swim. They swam to the top of the chamber, but there was no way out. They were going to drown. Both men fought against the water, but they began to lose consciousness. The Persian woke up and looked around him. He was lying on a sofa in Eric's house. Eric was standing over him. He could see Christine in the room too.
I saved your lives,
Eric told him.
I did it to please my wife.
He handed the Persian a glass.
Drink this,
He commanded. The Persian drank from the glass and fell asleep. A few days later, the Persian was resting in his apartment. He had read the Paris newspapers. He knew that Raoul's brother was dead. Someone had found his body near the underground lake.
Eric's last visitor,
The Persian thought sadly. He also knew that Christine and Raoul had disappeared. The newspapers had long articles about the missing couple. The Persian's servant came into the room to say that there was a visitor. A few minutes later, he showed Eric into the room.
Murderer!
The Persian cried.
Why did you kill Raoul's brother? And what have you done with Christine and Raoul?
Eric put his hand on his head. He looked ill and tired.
I am dying,
He said.
I came here to see you for the last time, my old friend. I want to tell you what happened.
He sat down in a chair.
I didn't kill Raoul's brother. He was dead when I arrived at the lake. He fell into the water, and he drowned.
He stopped talking for a moment and looked unhappily at the Persian.
This is the end for me. I love her. She allowed me to kiss her. It was so beautiful.
Where are they?
The Persian demanded.
What have you done with them, you monster?
Christine and Raoul are safe.
Eric replied.
She saved you both, you know. She turned the scorpion because she wanted you both to live. It was so brave of her. She promised to be my wife if I let you both live. And then I kissed her. I was happy, and I wept. It was the first kiss of my life. Even my own mother never kissed me. She just gave me a mask to put over my face. Then she ran away from me.
There were tears in Eric's eyes as he told the story.
Then I knew what I had to do. I gave her a wedding ring, and I said to her, "Take this. It's for you and Raoul. I know you love each other." Then they went away together to a secret place. I'll die soon. But that kiss, it was all my happiness.
The Persian looked at his old enemy sadly. He believed everything that Eric had told him. There were tears in the Persian's eyes after his visitor left him.